Imagine it's the year 1910. You own a factory. You make a good product, but your margins are tight and your competitors are getting faster. One day, a salesman walks into your factory floor and shows you a new machine. This machine can do the work of physical labor of 5 men and it never gets tired. What do? If you're a rational factory owner in 1910, the decision is obvious. You buy the machine, you fire the 5 men, you optimize the cost line. You win. In the industrial age, that was brilliant management. The work was physical. The workers were interchangeable. The competitive advantage was scale. The machine was an upgrade and the human was a liability to be minimized. Now fast forward to today. Right now, in boardrooms all over the world, executives are looking at a new machine. It's called artificial intelligence. And they're asking themselves the same question the factory owner asked in 1910. And tragically, they're coming up with the exact same answer. They're laying off thousands of people to replace them with AI. They're looking at their workforce, looking at the technology, and deciding to optimize the cost line. They think that they are making a bold, futuristic, strategic move. They aren't. They are making a 1910 decision with 2026 technology. They are applying industrial age thinking to an information age problem. And they're going to pay for it in ways that will not show up on their balance sheets for 18 to 24 months. To understand why this is such a catastrophic mistake, we have to understand the fundamental difference between the age we left behind and the age we live in now. In the industrial age, the primary input was physical labor. If the assembly line moved, the worker was productive. We didn't need to care about the mentality of our staff. We didn't need their creativity. We just needed their compliance. In the information age, the primary input is cognitive. The machinery we operate today is knowledge, creativity, and problem solving. But here's the problem. We're still running the information age companies using an industrial age operating system. Nowhere is this more obvious than in how we perceive our staff. Industrial age thinking considers employees to be liabilities. They're easily replaced, they bring little intrinsic value, and they represent a cost to be minimized. You look for any excuse to eliminate the liability. Information age thinking considers employees to be the engine. They are the assets that drive innovation. You look for every opportunity to invest in them. When a company announces a mass layoff to pivot to AI, they are telling you exactly which operating system they are running. They're telling you that they view their people as interchangeable cogs, liabilities. But here's what happens when you execute a 1910 decision today. Let's say you lay off 20% of your staff to replace them with AI. You celebrate the cost savings. The stock price might even bump up for a quarter. What happens to the 80% who stayed? Every employee who was not laid off watched what just happened. And because they're smart, rational people, they draw the correct conclusion. They realize that loyalty is not rewarded. They realize that investment in the company is not reciprocated. They realize that their job could be next. And in that moment, discretionary effort collapses. The people who stayed are now going to do the absolute minimum required to keep their jobs while they quietly update their LinkedIn profiles. They stop volunteering for hard projects. They stop offering new ideas. They look at your value statements and see the hypocrisy. Ultimately, they stop caring. You've not saved money. You have manufactured disengagement at scale. I call these employees corporate zombies. They're not bad people. They're rational actors responding to a system that just proved it views them as disposable liabilities. And the financial cost of a zombie workforce dwarfs what you saved on the layoff. The data backs this up. The average cost to replace a skilled employee is 50 to 200% of their annual salary. And companies that execute mass AI layoffs typically end up rehiring 40 to 60% of those eliminated roles within 18 months. Why? Because the AI didn't perform as expected, or because the business suddenly discovered what it had actually lost. They realized too late that the value of the institutional knowledge that they lost, they realized too late that the value of human relationships that they lost. The layoff saved money on paper for 2 quarters and cost significantly more in the 3rd through the 8th. So, if the 19 decision is the wrong answer, what's the right answer? What does information age leadership actually look like when confronted with a disruptive technology like AI? It starts with a fundamental shift in perception. You have to stop looking at AI as a replacement for human beings and start looking at it as an amplifier of human capability. Artificial intelligence does not create engagement. It amplifies whatever environment it is deployed into. If you deploy AI into a broken, command and control, industrial age management system, it doesn't fix the system. It accelerates it. The zombie factory just runs faster. The chaos compounds. But if you deploy AI into an environment of trust, autonomy, and high engagement, it amplifies that too. The companies that will win the next decade are not the ones that replace the most people with AI. They're the ones that make their people so capable with AI that no competitor can replicate what they built. Your people, augmented by AI, are your only sustainable competitive advantage. Think about what happens when you take a highly engaged employee, what I call a zealot, and you give them an AI tool that eliminates the repetitive, soul-crushing parts of their job. You don't fire them. You free them. You free them to do the deep, complex, creative problem solving that the AI can't do by itself. You get what I call the human dividend. But to get the human dividend, you have to be willing to do something that terrifies most industrial age managers. You have to give up control. You have to push authority to where the information is. You have to let people closest to the work decide how to use the tools. You have to stop measuring physical presence and start measuring outcomes. You have to rebuild your internal structures to leverage the new capability. 800 years ago, the Mongols built the largest empire in human history, and they didn't do it because they had the best technology. They did it because every time they encountered a better method or a better tool, they restructured their entire organization, their army, to incorporate it. The institution bent to the improvement. Today, most companies do the exact opposite. They buy the AI tool, but they protect the old management structure. They want the transformation, but they refuse to change. They want the siege engineers to fight on horseback. We are standing at the edge of the most significant technological shift since the Industrial Revolution. But the technology is not the differentiator. In 5 years, every company in your industry will have access to the exact same AI models you do. The algorithms will be commoditized. The software will be table stakes. When everyone has the same machine, the machine is no longer an advantage. The only differentiator left will be the people operating the machine. The only differentiator left will be the culture that surrounds them. If you treat your people like liabilities to be minimized, they're going to act like liabilities. They will become zombies. And your AI will simply help them become disengaged faster. But if you treat your people like the engine of your success, if you invest in them, if you trust them, if you use the technology to elevate them rather than eliminate them, they become zealots. And a team of zealots, armed with information age tools and supported by information age leadership, is unstoppable. The choice is ultimately yours. You can make the 1910 decision. You can optimize the cost lines, celebrate the short-term savings, and watch your culture hollow out from the inside. Or you can make the 2026 decision. You can choose the human dividend. The tragedy of the modern corporate landscape is not that leaders are choosing the wrong answer. The tragedy is they are choosing the industrial age answer because it's the only answer they know. I think it's time to learn a new answer. Your people are not in the way of the future. Your people are the future. Equip them, trust them, and watch what they build. Thank you.